Now we begin with the part 1, the MCQ part or the electronic part for the grade 11 advance. The first question is graphing points with polar coordinates. I will try my best to go through the shortcuts, easy calculator methods, because you will have the 4 options. But some of the problems don't have shortcuts. You need to know the formulas, you need to understand the technique. Now, for example, this problem is basically multiple representation of polar coordinates, right? These formulas must be known. And then there are tough problems where you need to understand the concept. Just by memorizing, you may not get the answer. Some problems, yes, but not all the problems. So try to focus on this because this is a bit tricky question. So what this is, now imagine you have a point, say 120 degrees. I'll choose 120 over here. 120 degrees, and what is the radius? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the coordinate given to you. You need to find the other ways to represent this. 4, 120 means from here I will draw 120 degrees and I'll reach to this point. So that's 120 degrees and radius is 4. There is another way to reach from here, right? This way I can come down and I can reach it out over here. But how much degrees do I have to travel? From the other side means it will be negative degrees. But from here it's 120, so the other side will be 240 degrees, right? If I count, see it's 90, 180, and if you add this, it'll be 240 degrees. Now then, what is the radius? From here, it's the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 only. So the formula in general is given by whatever the angle is there, subtract 360 degrees, minus 360. Then what about the other thing? You can even reach this, say if this is 120, you can even go over here, this line. Can you see this line? And then you can trace back to the opposite sign. That means go backwards. That is also fine. So you must reach this. What is this degrees now? This is from here to 70 to 300. This is 300, right? I'm just counting. Yeah. So this is 300 degrees. So if you do 300 degrees from here and then trace back 1, 2, 3, 4, you will reach the same point. So let us change the color for this. So it will be 300 degrees. Okay, that's 300. And then you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 4, not plus. So minus 4, 300 degrees is a possibility as well. But how do you get this? It's simple. For this 120, right? You add 180 degrees. What happens? It's 300 degrees. But whenever you add or subtract 180, you need to change the radius sign. And lastly, what do we have over here? This side also is possible. So what you do is subtract 180 degrees now. When you subtract 180, you'll get minus 60. So this is minus 60 degree and then trace back 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's minus 4. Minus 4, minus 60. So these are all the 4 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the given question, yes, but these are the 3 different ways to represent the same point. Now, this is what we will be doing over here. Now, in calculator, it's directly possible for many problems. All you need to do is subtract 360, add 180, and subtract 180. Let's try solving it up. Let's take our calculators over here. Now, we have 1 and 150 degrees. So, I'll have 150 degrees, subtract by 360. It's minus 210. If you look over here in the question, they have clearly mentioned it can be within this limit. So as long as it's within that limit, it's fine. Yes, it is less than 360. So that is one of the answer. Whenever you add or subtract 360, remember you leave the radius as it is. But now I will change this. Let me subtract it from 180 degrees. It's minus 30, but this will become minus 1. Let's look into the answers. See, first answer, what I got? The same one, 1, and it was minus 110 when I subtracted 360. It was within the range. Next one over here, I got minus 30 degrees, and this will be minus 1. And I just change this minus to plus here. It's 360 degrees and minus 1. So these are the multiple representation. It will work many times, but look at this problem. Let's try this. 300 minus 360 will be minus 60. Absolutely, it's fine over here. Same radius, minus 2, minus 60. Now what we will do is we will subtract this by 180. Will it work? Yes, because 360 is more, you have got 120, and the sign must be changed. From minus now, you have to change to opposite sign, it will be plus. But now look at this. If I add 180 degrees, right, it is 480 degrees. Now, this is a problem because it's beyond the limit. Now, you might think, okay, I will take the co-terminal, I'll subtract this by 360. But no, you're not getting the other answer. You're getting basically 120 itself. So how would you get this? So basically, adding and subtracting 180, now this is 120, right, over here somewhere. You need to find the co-terminal. So this is the straight chord. Co-terminal to 120 degree. So the easier way, other than memorizing minus 540 and all, the shortcut is very simple. You will get one answer. The same answer, you will easily get it. When you add or subtract 180, one answer will be there. See, I will show you. 300 minus 180, you will get the answer, right? For this particular value, 120, right, subtract 360. What happens? That is your answer. This is it. So because it's MCQ, you don't need to write all this. You don't need to write the formulas. Just remember, do the three formulas, and if at all one value is exceeding, find the other value. In the sense, this particular value minus 360, that will give it. Now let's look into other problems. What if there are in radians? Okay, now one more thing I have to tell you before going. Now imagine the problem was such that you were getting this answer correctly, okay, minus 240. But when you say subtracted something from minus 240, other value was exceeding it. If you do minus 180, it will be exceeding it. So this was the problem. So in such cases, when there is minus 240, you can't again subtract by, sorry, not subtract this. This will exceed, right? You should just add it up. Okay, this is how you find it. So you need to look at the value obtained. When I saw here it's 120, okay, I easily subtracted by 360. But some cases you will have to add by 360. Let us see that cases. Now I think so you might get it in this problems. Now here it is in terms of pi. What I would personally suggest is just convert it to degrees only. Minus 7 pi is what? 180. Wherever pi is, they put 180 divided by 6. So what is the answer? It's 210. So what I will write is 4, 210. I will solve the multiple representation for this, and finally I'll write back in pi values. Okay, this is the given question. I've written it wrong. It's minus 210. Okay. Now, if I have minus 210, is it possible to subtract by 360? It will exceed, right? So in such cases, just change and add it. That's it. Now this is the answer. One answer is same radius, 150 degrees. That's done. Now the other answers will have minus 4, minus 4. But what about the degrees? So how do I find it? So I know the original is minus 210, right? So let me write minus 210 and let me add 180 to it. Okay, minus 30 works. And let me even subtract and check once. This is not working. So only adding 180 works, right? So let me write this value. Now for this particular value, minus 30, don't go to subtract 360 because obviously it will exceed, right? Since it's negative, add 360 to this. This is the other value, 330. So this is it. So now how would you understand this? See, this positive and positive, there are two values, right? They are related by 360s. Now when you change, you should add 180, add or subtract 180, you'll get one of the value. Then these both are again related by 360. See, if you add 360, if it's beyond the limit, then subtract by 360. That is it. So these are the answers. But now you need to convert it to what? To radians, right? Now this radius values are all right. This is already converted. Now 150, how do you convert back? Just divide it by 180. So that is 5 by 6. So one of the answer is 4, 5 by 6 pi. What about the other answers? Same thing, minus 30 is there, right? Okay. Minus 30 just divided by 180. The answer is 1 by 6. So basically it is minus 1 by 6 pi. or pi by 6 is 360, right? And lastly over here, 330 divided by 180, it will be 11 by 6 pi. Now over here it's positive 11 by 6 pi. So these are the multiple representation. See, now in your four options, now I don't know how exactly they'll give these options. Maybe you'll have set of 3 answers. So if you just get any two, you can easily eliminate the other options and that would be the correct. Okay. You can see over here one answer was 4 comma 5 pi by 6. Another one is, this is written as negative pi by 6 or negative 1 by 6 pi. And lastly over here, these two will have negative radius. It'll change. So same way, please do solve the others by yourselves. Over here the answers are given and then check for the answers. Now if it's in radian, I personally like to convert to degrees, solve it up, convert it back to radian, that's fine. If it's in degrees, it's simple. Over here, now don't go to subtract by 360, add by 360, you get 330. And what about 180? Add 180 and subtract 180, you'll directly get the answer. There's no problem with this one. Even over here, it's very simple. Everything, but over here it will be adding 360, okay, not subtracting. See over here, this is wrong, it should be added. So when you add, you will get 120. If you subtract, it's gonna go exceed more than 360. That's how we do it. So that is the end of the question one, a simple one. Please remember the formulas. And if you're not getting the answer within the limit of minus 360 to 360 or minus 2 pi to pi, add again, just try to manipulate it and get the correct answer. The second question is not graph simple polar equations at all. It is about polar distance. So they have told exercise 30 to 41. Those problems are solved by polar distance formula. The formula is very simple. Square root of the radius 1 square. There will be two coordinates, right? The first radius 1, theta 1, angle 1. The second point will be r2, theta 2. So r1 square plus r2 square minus 2 times r1 r2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1. This is the formula you need to memorize. Once you know that formula, you can easily substitute and solve. See, they have clearly mentioned over here from 30 to 41. Find the distance between each pair of points. How do you find it? Let's write the formula. Square root of r1 square plus r2 square minus 2 times r1 r2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1. This formula must be memorized. Now here, this is r1 theta 1 r2 theta 2. You can even interchange the points, you'll get the same answer, so no bother in that. Let's substitute. 2 square plus 5 square minus 2 times 5 times 2, it's r, I've just taken the other way, you're multiplying, it's fine, times cos of 120 degrees minus 30 degrees, and put this inside the square root. Take out your calculators and solve this up. It will be square root, this is the symbol, 2 square it up, plus 5 square plus, sorry, it's minus 2 times 5 times 2 times cos. Now you do not need to make it to radian mode. Keep it in degrees only. The default mode is degree mode because the values are in degrees, right? I'll just put 120 minus 30, close the bracket. The answer is root of 29, or it's 5.385 becomes 5.39. That's it. Here you can use radians as theta directly, but then you will have to press shift mode and then change it to radians. But what I would honestly suggest you is convert this to degrees. Pi by 2, how much is it? 180 by 2, it's 90 degrees, right? Pi is 180 divided by 2, it's 90 degrees. Take it as 90. 4 pi by 3. So what you need to do is 4, wherever pi is there, just put 180 degrees divided by 3. And answer is 240. So use 190 and 240 degrees here and solve it up. You will get the correct answer itself. Let me show you. So it's square root. Radius 1 is 3 square plus 8 square minus 2 times 3 times 8 times cos. Theta 2 is, over here we got 240 minus 90, close the brackets, and the answer is 10.70. So this is a more better way to do it. So I hope you're clear with this. And similarly, please do solve the other problems. There's nothing much in this. It's just straightforward problems. So all are over here. The worked out solutions are there. And that's all the problems, I believe. That's the end of this topic. Question 3, just like the question 2, is not to graph simple polar equations. Here it's quite the opposite. The graphs will be given and you need to deduce the polar equations. But since it's from this particular chapter, they have given the chapter name maybe rather than the topic name. Here you have been given the polar equation and you need to find which is the graph. So it's just a straight line and you would have 4 options, right? So one thing is you can just graph out the 4 options by the table mode 7 in your calculator and do it out. But since this is such an easy topic, I would just tell you how simple it is. It's a straight line. Can you see? Where does it hit? Let's see for the first angle it touches over here. It's from 0. This is pi by 6. Half of pi by 6 will be half multiplied by 2. Basically multiplied by half. What is it? Pi by 12, isn't it? So the graph equation, the equation of this graph must be pi by 12. What is the radius? Radius can be anything. It can be positive or negative real number. So r comma pi by 12. So theta is pi by 12 is the equation for this graph. That's the answer. So that's it, How you check? See, there will be 4 options. Look which is which is depicting this particular point over here. From the axis, the closest one. It is pi by 12. Same way over here, now it's a complete circle. In such cases, you should know all theta is considered. See, over here only 1 theta or the negative left side, only these values are considered for the angle, right? Not over here, literally all. See, 15, 30, 60, 90, all angles are considered. So theta is theta only. What is the radius? It is 2.5. Positive or even negative 2.5 is possible. So the answer is only based on the radius for such circles. R is equal to 2.5. So you can just remember, if it's a straight line, like this lines, theta equals something. If it's a circle, R is equal to something. So that's it. R is either plus 2.5 or minus 2.5. What about this? R is 4, plus or minus 4. And over here, theta, what is the angle? It's between 150 and 120, so it'll be 135 degrees. So theta is 135. And that's the end. Another simple and easy topic. The 4th question is about identifying classical curves. Here we have a polar graph. Now, if you know the basics of polar graph, you might tell the answer is related with sine theta. And since the radius is how much? 3, the answer is 3 sine theta. That's the final answer. But how would you know that? See, along the x and y, if at all, now these are polar grids, right? Like circles are there. If you see a circle anywhere on the y-axis, if it's above and if it's below, it's either minus sine theta or plus sine theta. It can't be cosine. It can only be sine if it's over here. And depending on the radius, the diameter, this is how much diameter? 1, 2, 3. 3 means it will be 3 sine theta. So if it is along the x-axis, then that is called cosine. That is one important thing you must remember. Now, it doesn't matter you can't remember 3 or exactly what it is. I will tell you the calculator method now. Look into your 4 options. Now, here we have the answer. R is equal to 3 sine theta, right? But you will have 4 options. You will have 2 sine and 2 cosine. Looking at this, since it's above, you must eliminate all the cosine options. Only sine can be the options. Let's go to mode and say table 7, and let's type it out. 3 sine theta, let me take it as alpha x. Now here I'm not gonna do it in terms of radians because my default mode is in degrees. I'll leave it as degrees only. This is now starting, right? I will start at 0 degrees and end at 360 degrees. Just memorize these. For all these polar graphs, you can remember this. 0, 360. What is the step you want to give? I will give a step of 30 or 60. 30 is the most ideal, okay? Or you can give, say, 45 degrees and all, but 30 is the most ideal. 30. So at 0, it's 0 only. This is the point. And then 30 degrees, where is it going? If you see this 30-degree line, That's the 30-degree, right? And what is the value? 30 is 1.5. This is 60 is 2.59. 30 is 1.5. So 1, 1.5. Yes, that is the point, right? What about 60 degrees? This is the line. It's 1, 2, 2.2.5. It's 2.59. Yes, that's accurate. What about the other values? Same way, you can compare because already the graph will be given. Just compare the values now. Here we have at 90, it's 3. Is it true? Yes, it's 3. 1, 2, 3. And what about 120 degrees? It is 2.59, is it? 1, 2, yes, 2.59. Then we have 1.5. Sorry, this is 1.5, not this. And this is again 0. And then it keeps on going. But it will be negative sign. Let's see that. Over here, you can see it's minus 1.5 at 210 degrees. So this is 180, 210 is this. Minus 1.5 means go backwards. 1, 1.5. So over here at 240 degrees, it's minus 2.59. So 1, 2, 2. This is the value. But it's over here, but minus, that's why we go back. 270, same thing. We can, 270 is over here, 3 pi by 2, right? Minus 3. So not over here, it's minus 1, 2, 3. This is the point. So this is how we get a circle. If you get one circle, that's enough. You can easily differentiate the graph. So that's how we do these problems. Now here we have a lemniscate. If you look at such graph, it's lemniscate. Now graphing them can be a bit tricky, but anyways, now you know this is a lemniscate. There'll be 4 options. These options are generally in terms of a square sine 2 theta. Now looking at the standard form, you can easily tell, but imagine you can't remember the standard form. You need the calculator method, then it's fine. We have to take our calculator. Now here for lemniscate, remember it's not like circle. So I generally focus only on the first part. So from 0 to 90 degrees, just focus over there. Why? Because if you take say 360 degree, you won't get the proper values because over here these are same values. You can try 0, 360, 30 degrees. It may not give you the exact answer. It will give you, but not more accurate one. So what you do is more 7. Write this form. Now over here, when you write the form, there's a very important thing. You can't write directly this 9 sine 2 theta. No, you should write square root because we have to take square root on both the sides to get r. This is 9 sine 2 theta is basically alpha x, close the bracket, and there's no g of x. Where do you want to start? It's at 0. Now since I'll just focus on this particular values, I will take at least half of them from 0 to pi. Okay. So what I'll do is end at 180. And here step is very important. I'll give 15. And now we can see at 0, where is it? 0 is 0 only. What about 15 degrees? 15 is over here, this point. It's around 2.1. Yes, this is correct. Then 2.79. Yes, it's correct. What about this 45? It's 3. Yes. And so on. You can just compare. Only now over here, some of them will be error. Just ignore the points. Why? Because we have square root, right? If at all the inside the value it's negative, it will be an error. That's fine, but you will get enough values to easily deduce which is the correct one. Okay, you can try with 360, but generally you won't get the answers. Let me just show you, because the computation over here, if you take till 360 and 15, there is insufficient memory. So you can try one thing, 0 to 360 and say 30 degrees. Now over here, see these values, many are missed out. See, these are missed out. Over here, they are all recurring points. At 30, at 60, 30, it's yes, 2.79 correct. Even over here, it's 2. Yes, correct. So we are not getting much information, you know. So that's why I generally take 0 to pi and take 15 degrees. You'll get a lot of information of the graph. Basically, you're just looking into the, graphing the equation and checking. If you graph the wrong equation, if you take the wrong equation and check for the values will be wrong. It won't match. Only one equation will match to this graph. So it's easy to deduce. Even over here, just see the final 4 options, because you will have 4 options. Put this in the graph. This is very simple. Just put this in the graph and see which is belonging to where. Does the points match with the graph? And that's it. Same thing with the other graphs. Please make sure you graph them in the calculator. You get the values and then compare. This is a rose curve. And this is another circle. It's simple over here. It's cosine and left side is minus. And since the radius is 2, minus 2 cos theta. Now this is lemniscate again. Over here, remember for lemniscate, you have to always take the square root. And that's the end of the question 4. Just be careful when you're graphing. If you use the table method, you might get insufficient memory. So just reduce from 0 to, instead of 360, put it 0 to 180 or something, and then you will get the values in your calculator. The question 5 is conversion between rectangular and polar coordinates. And over here we have the formulas. So if at all you have been given rectangular coordinates like say 2, 3, imagine this is 2, 3, x is 2, y is 3. To reach over here, x value and y value, we will get to this point. But also we can come by polar, that is just from the center to over here by radius. That's the radius, right? But what happens is this is Pythagoras theorem now, because this is the hypotenuse and the two sides. So we can use Pythagoras theorem to find the value of r. And for theta, we can use tan inverse value. But here this is very important to note. Whenever x value, if you have like this, x is positive, just use the formula tan inverse y by x. But if it is minus 2, 3, the x is negative, then we will have to add pi or 180 degrees. Pi means 180 degrees itself. Let's look at a problem over here. Find two pairs of the polar coordinates for each of the given rectangular coordinates. S is 1 and minus 3. So in the step 1, we will analyze what is x and y. X is 1, y was negative root 3. Then substitute it in the formulas. You should never forget these formulas, otherwise you cannot solve them. Over here, r is Pythagoras theorem, that's square root of x squared plus y squared. Theta is tan inverse y by x. Here x value is positive, so it's only this much, no pi. And then substitute the values, get the answers. Over here we got negative, so we added 360 and we get positive value. And now write them in polar coordinate. That is r comma theta. R is 2, theta is so much. That's the answer. Now over here you can see negative pi by 3 is also equal to 5 pi by 3. So that's the answers. Now let's solve some EoT problems over here. But here there is some changes. They have clearly mentioned the limit for the theta. It's from 0 to 2 pi. We will come to this. And since most of the problems over here are in radians, see, I'll just go through the final answer. 1 second. The final answer will be like this. This is in radian, it's not in degrees. Now if you solve this, you might get some degrees, say 40 degrees you got. But in radian, the values are different. So I will tell you how exactly you have to use your calculator to solve them. But now you directly cannot jump here. There is no way from this directly you can jump here. It's better to use the calculator, use the formula, solve it up, and then only reach to the final answer. First thing, r square root of x squared plus y squared. Theta, since x is positive, it is tan inverse of x by y. Now substitute the values. Radius is 7 square plus 10 square, and over here theta is tan inverse of x is 7. It is y by x. I've written the formula wrong. I'm sorry. It's y divided by x. It's always 10 divided by 7. That's it. Now let's use our calculators. Here now, the first thing, very simple, square root 7 squared plus 10 squared. It's squared. And that's the answer, root of 149 or 12.2. What about this one? Tan inverse, shift and tan gives you tan inverse. 10 divided by 7, close the bracket, and the answer is 55.0079 degrees, because my calculator is in degree mode. Now you need to change to radian because all your answers are in radian. How do you do it? You can convert 55 to radian, but that's going to be a long method. So I would highly suggest you just do this. Whenever you get such problems, press shift, mode, and this is in radian 4. And now press equal to, your answer is 0.96. That's it. So you can see r is 12 point something, over here 12.21, theta is 0.96. Now here almost the answers are done, but can you see your final answers are 2? Like this and this. So one of the best way is, since you have 4 options, you can easily see which is the correct answer. This is correct answer. Most probably, this will be the only option with the same these values, so you can select this as the correct. But how to get the other value? It's simple. Look at this. They have told 0 to 2 pi, isn't it? Now what you have to do is, you have to get either add or subtract this by pi. Pi is 180 degrees, but since it's in radians, just add or subtract by pi. If you recall in the previous question, when we add 180 or subtract 180, we change the r value to plus and it becomes minus. So imagine this was the value. Now we are adding, this is the angle, right? So this is the angle. Now we will be adding pi, so it will go over here. So this side will be minus radius. So we have done this previously. If you have come watching the videos in order, you will remember that. So here, this is the answer you got, isn't it? Now take your calculator. See, we got pi as theta as 0.96. So I will just add pi to it. The answer is 4.1. Now, what about minus? Why can't I do minus? Yes, I can absolutely do. Let me just change this. Let me subtract it and I will get the original answer. This was 0.96, right? Let me again subtract it by pi. The answer is now 0.96. It becomes negative, so it's not within the range. So you just add plus and minus. If it goes negative, ignore it, just add it up. So that's it. So 0.96, if I subtract by pi, look, it's becoming negative, so I just add the value and it is 4.1. That's the reason. But remember, whenever you add or subtract, add this minus sign. And look, the calculator is in radian mode. That's the only reason I'm getting the correct answer. So now here, I'll directly show you now how to do it. Square root negative 13 square, you need to use the brackets, or you can just ignore the negative sign because you're squaring it up. Plus 4 squared 16. Now the answer is 13.60. Let me just show you the final answer. You can easily eliminate a lot of options because you know the final answer must be 13 or minus 13. So this is the first thing. I'm sure by this you can eliminate at least 2 options. Now what about theta? Tan inverse. Y is 4 divided by, the sign is very important here. It's minus 13. Now x value is negative 13. So what do? The formula is add pi to it. Add pi. If you don't add pi, the answer is wrong. Now the answer is 2.84. That's the original answer, yes. But what is the thing? We have to add pi, isn't it? Like add pi or subtract pi. So let me subtract pi first. Before I do that, look, the answer is what? 2.84. What is the pi value? Pi is 180 degrees, yes. But what is pi otherwise? It's 3.14, isn't it? Look, how much is this? 2.84. Obviously, it's less than 3.14. If I subtract 3.14, I'll get a negative answer. So that's wrong. 0 theta can be less than or equal to what 2 pi is? 3.14 into 2, it's 6.28. Until 6.28, it's fine. So what I do is, to this 2.84, if I subtract pi value, it's in radians. This is going to be negative. No, I can't do that. I will just add, and that's the other answer. So this is it. It's a very easy topic now. I'm sure everyone are thorough with it because there's nothing much. First is square root of, I'll just take the positive signs because square will remove the negatives. 2 squared. So looking at the answer now. What is the answer? So this must be there. Now over here, okay, so this is supposed to be the answer, okay? It is not. Oh, I can see the values are wrong here. I apologize for that. The solution set is from the previous answer itself. Really, the answer for this is, I'll write it out. It's gonna be 13.41. It'll be 42, sorry. It's either positive and negative, 13.42. Now, what about tan inverse? We have to do shift tan inverse. It's in radian mode, so y is minus 12 divided by minus 6. But don't forget, since x value is less than 0, that means it's negative number, add pi to it. And this is the answer. So I'll write out over here, comma, 4.25. Okay, this is 4.25. Now what about this? Should I add or subtract? I have to subtract because this is more than 3.142414, right? So let me just change this and I'll write the value itself. Sorry, it's not 4.25. If I add it, it's more than 6.24, which is exceeding 2 pi. 2 pi is 6.28, sorry. So I have to subtract here. Now this is the other answer, that is 1.11. So this is one set of answer, one set. Remember, when you add or subtract by pi, you have to change the sign of r. So that's it. Now if you want to check this 2 pi, what is the value? It is 6.28. So it should be less than that, right? So that's it. Please do solve the other problems by yourselves. They are just the same. Over here, the answer solution sets are proper. So these are the answers. You can always see r will be plus and minus. This will be one, whatever answer is this, subtracted by pi. Same thing here, but over here, don't add anything. Tan inverse theta is tan inverse y by x. That's it. No adding anything y because the x value is positive. The answers are over here. Same way, all the problems, please do solve it up. And the answers are over here. Now they have left it as pi. Now let me solve this one because it looks a little bit different, right? Let's take our calculators. Here, r is straightforward. Just use the square root. Now, since it's a single number, 0, right? You will get r as 1 to 73 itself. Now let's do tan inverse. This is very important. When we do tan inverse, it's negative 173 divided by 0. Will we get any answer? No, it's a math error. Why? Because it's undefined. So how do we solve it now? There's a way. Now let's just draw the coordinate. And what is this value? X is 0. So it's over here. This y value is how much? Negative 173. It will be somewhere on this axis, right? From here, what is the degree to over here? 90, 180, 270 degrees. What is 270 degrees in radians? It is basically, see, this much is pi. Pi plus again half will be 3 pi by 2. It's 1.5 pi. 270 degrees converted to radians will be 3 pi by 2. Now I'll show you how. You just have to do 170 divided by 270 divided by 180. It's 270 divided by pi value is 180. Just divide this. How much is it? 3 by 2. You should write in terms of pi. So we have everything in radian. So we can just consider it as 3 pi by 2. So 3 pi, shift and this, by 2. Now 3 pi by 2, you need to add or subtract pi, right, to get the other answer. Let me add by pi. It exceeds 2 pi. Why? It's becoming more than 6.25. It is really 2.5 pi. It's exceeding this. So what you need to do is you need to subtract by pi here. And now you get half pi. So this is by the other answer. The first one, just plot it on an axis. Since it's negative 173, it should be on the y-axis but down, right? That means from year to year it's 270 degrees, but since we are dealing everything with the radian, it is 3 pi by 2. And then over here, subtract by pi, you get the other answer, but radius changes to negative sign. That's how we do it. And now over here we have variables, but that doesn't matter much, okay? It's the same concept. I'll just solve it. R is equal to square root x square plus y square. Y is equal to tan inverse of y by x. This is it. Now what do we do? R, substitute the values. A square plus 3a the whole square, and now solve it up. A square, let it be. What is 3 square? It's 9a square. Now 1, this is 1, right? Nothing is there. 1 plus 9 is 10, root of 10a square. Or what you can do is, radius can be equal to root 10a, because square is there, it cancels. So our final answer must have this, or I think so they have substituted root 10. Now if you do this root 10, let me just show you in calculator. Use the square root symbol and 10, the answer is 3.16. So that's why they have written 3.16a, or you can even leave root 10. Sometimes the answers in the final exam will be like this, root 10a. And what about tan inverse y by x? See, over here they have clearly mentioned a is greater than 0, so only this much is the formula. tan inverse y is 3a divided by a. So cancel this. What is tan inverse of 3? So use your calculator. Here all you need to do is shift and tan inverse 3, nothing else, divided by 1, right? So leave that. It's 1.24. And you can see over here the answer is 1.24, more than 5, so it will approximate to 1.25. And add pi, it will be 4.39. So these are the answers. But when you change it, remember to add minus sign to the radius. That's it. And over here as well, please solve it by yourselves. The worked out solutions are there. Here the value you got is 3 pi by 4. Now here what happens is it will be tan inverse of minus 1. Let me just do it. Tan inverse for the theta part. Tan inverse, it will be 14 divided by 14 plus, sorry, it's minus. So x is less than, so you should add by pi. Is that okay? Now, whatever the answer you get is 3 pi by 4. That's why. And then over here, add pi again. It will be 7 by 4 pi. But make sure 7 by 4 pi is less than 6.28. Make sure you change the radius sign. That's it. Similar problem here as well. Please do it by yourselves. I'm sure you'll be used to it if you do a couple of problems. Here we did similar to this, right? Just take the square root. Find what's the value. Over here it's 25b squared, it will be 5b. And what about tan inverse? The b cancels, so you'll get negative 0.93. I mean, you need to put it in radian and solve it. You'll get 5.35 and the other one is 2.21. Now, don't get confused here. Let me show you. So it'll be tan inverse. Now, what happens over here is negative 4 divided by positive 3. So x is positive, so you leave it that much only. The answer is negative 0.927. So what you can do is, this is a negative value. How do you find the coterminal? You should add 2 pi. Do you remember the first problem we got negative value, so we added 2 pi or 360 degrees. This is your answer. So remember, whenever you finally solve it and you get negative values, that means it's coterminal, right? You can't allow negative values over here. So you add 2 pi, this is the coterminal angle. It's basically, say now over here, this side is negative, but this side if you go, it's positive. So that's it. So we are finding this, it's 5.35. Over here we get the negative value, 0.93. So this is how we basically solve this problem. And then you can subtract by pi and the radius changes its sign. And this is the answers. Again, another easy problem. Please do it by yourselves and then check for the answers. And the last problem over here, again, another simple one. Yeah. So there are various ways to recognize the answer. The radius must be plus and minus. The theta over here, one must be, the difference must be pi. If you do this 3.76 minus 0.62, the difference will be pi. But other values also might have it, so you need to use the formula. You need to remember the formula and then solve it up. That's the end of the question 5. The question 6 is to find the products and quotients of complex numbers in polar form. Now, first thing, let's understand the formulas. If there are two complex numbers given in polar form, they'll be in terms like this. R1 cos theta 1 plus I sin theta 1. And imagine the next one is R2 cos theta 2 plus I sin theta 2. You can multiply them both. Okay, Z1 and Z2 can be multiplied by this formula. Here the radiuses are multiplied to each other and the angles in theta, the theta angle, right? The first one is added to the second one, and over here first one is added to the second one in the imaginary part as well. The sine theta is for the imaginary part, whereas cos theta is the real part. This is the formula. You need to memorize this one. The quotient is simple. It's just divided. R1 divided by R2, and instead of plus over here, we have minus. So if you're thorough with one formula, the other one is very simple to relate it. So here it was multiplication, multiplication, division, division. Multiplication is related to addition, division is to subtraction. Now let's solve some problems. Here we have a problem where we need to find the product in the rectangular form. So we need to find the product, that is multiply them. Should remember the formula. Over here is the formula. All you do is multiply 2 times 4 here. And what about theta? add them up. 5 pi by 3 plus pi by 6. Same thing over here with the imaginary part. Put it in the calculator, you get this as the answer. Let us do it in the calculator. Once the polar form is done, over here if you're thinking how to solve this up, just write it as it is. 5 pi by 3 plus pi by 6. Over here it's pi divided by 6. The theta for both the things, see over here, the cos and sine will be same, cos and sine is same. So if you do once, it's enough. This is the answer for both. But what about this part, like conversion to rectangular form? It is very simple. All you need to do is type the imaginary and real parts separately. What I mean is multiply this 8 over here and over here. For the first thing, it'll be 8 times cos, what is theta? It's 11 pi, that is shift and over here, by 6. Now make sure your calculator is in the radian mode, that is shift mode and 4. If it's not already in radian mode, please convert to radian mode. Press equal to, this is the answer. You can see the first part, 4 root 3. You can directly jump to the answer because this is MCQ question. And now only change this to sine, and that is the other answer. That is the imaginary part. But here you should add I. That's the only thing. Now let's do other problems. See, the polar form is given over here. The rectangular form is given over here. Same thing over here. We need to do it in polar and rectangular form. Important to write the formula and then solve it up. Even if you know it in your mind, that's enough then, because you can directly do it in the calculator. Radius 1 times radius 2 multiplied with cos theta is first, theta 1 plus theta 2. And over here, remember it's plus sine theta 1, theta 2. You should add them as well. That's the formula. Now over here it will be 6 times 4, that's 24. And over here it will be cos pi by 2 plus pi by 4. And over here we will have plus sine. Okay, I forgot to write the I sine again pi by 2 plus pi by 4, and that's the answer. So we will be 24, and we have cos. Now this is half pi, this is 1/4, it will be 3/4 pi. You can directly write it 3 by 4 pi or 3 pi by 4 plus I sine 3 pi by 4. This is the polar form, but we need the rectangular form, right? So your answer will not be in this form, it will be in rectangular form. So we need to have our calculators with us. Now what you need to do is type this out. 24 times, what is this? Cos 3 pi by 4. So 3 by 4 pi is also same thing, or 3 pi by 4 is the same. So what is this answer? It's negative 12 root 2. Same thing, just change this cos to sine. Over here, just delete this and put sine. You get the answer 12 root 2 as well. So the answer is negative 12 root 2 and positive 12 root 2. But the positive part as I over here. Why? Because it was the imaginary part. Simple as that. And over here, please do it by yourselves. Only difference is this is in degrees. Now, what would you do if it is in degrees? Clear your calculator. That is shift 9, 3 equal AC. Now it's cleared and it's in default mode of degrees. Now radians doesn't work. So over here, first thing is multiplying 5 times 2, it's 10. Now what about this? Adding the degrees, right? I'll do the first part, the real part directly. It'll be 10 times cos 135 plus 45, close the bracket. So this will be the answer. It's negative 10. You can see the final answer. Now what about the imaginary part? Only thing is over here, you need to change this cosine to sine. And guess what? It's 0. So 0 multiplied with, imaginary is always 0. So here you get only 10. That is only the real part is there. Imaginary part is 0. It's not required to be written. Now we have division. So let's do this problem. Same concept, but the formula is different. It is R1 by R2. Over here we have cosine theta 1 minus theta 2. And over here it's plus between them. I sine theta 1 minus theta 2. So this is the formula. Now we will substitute. we need to divide what this is. This becomes r1 theta 1 theta 1. The division part, divisor, becomes r2 theta 2 theta 2. So r1 is 3 divided by half. I'll write 0.5, or you can write 1 by 2, and that goes up. Anyways, the answer will be 6 over here. What about cos theta 1? It's 3 pi by 4 plus, sorry, it's not plus, it's minus, my bad, minus pi, plus I sine, same thing, 3 pi by 4 minus pi. And what's happening over here? This is 3 divided by 0.5 is 6. We have cosine. Now what is 3/4 pi minus pi? It will be negative pi by 4, or 1/4 pi, okay? Plus I sine, again the same thing, negative pi by 4. That's it. Now over here, this is the polar form, but we do not need this. What do we want? We need the rectangular form. So we just use the calculator and solve this now. Over here, we type this as it is 10 cosine negative pi by 4, that is minus pi by 4. I remember I changed this back to degree mode. See, I will show you the difference. Now this is the answer, 9.99. But now shift mode and 4 will give me an entirely different value. It's 5 root 3. Sorry, it's not 10. My bad, it's 6. Okay, over here. This is the answer, 3 root 3. 3 root 2. Now that will be the first part of the answer, you can see. Now what about the other one? Just change this to sine. From cosine, it becomes sine. And the answer is negative 3 root 2. That will have I imaginary part. So you can see this is the polar form, and the rectangular form is over here. So this is how easily you can solve all the problems over here. Here again, it's multiplication. We did a similar problem. Here's the worked out solution. Now here what happens is, when the imaginary part becomes 0, that part is not written. You don't write 4 plus 0. 0i is 0 itself. So only 4 is written. Here also you can work it out by yourselves. Now this part, what happens over here is, the first part, real part is 0. Only imaginary part remains. I will show you. You can just put this in the calculator. I've typed this over here in the question, the real part, and the answer is 0. So here we don't write that. Only the other part, the imaginary part, is written. Remove this and make it sine. And what's the answer? Negative 3 by 4. And don't forget the I. So this is how we solve all these problems. Again over here, similar one, but it's division. So remember, use the formula appropriately and solve it up. Same thing over here. Look at the question. If it's in degrees, make sure you clear your calculator, or you can press shift mode and 3, that is degrees. Otherwise, if it's in radians, that's like pi, you have to keep the mode in radian and solve it up. If you don't use radian mode, your answer will be wrong. Over here, there are similar problems. And last problem here, it's about division, and that's the answers. They are easy problems. Make sure you practice them, and please be thorough with the formula, which is very, very important. The question 7 is about arithmetic sequences. Here, let us look into the formula of arithmetic sequence. The general formula is given as an equals a1 plus n minus 1 d, where a1 is the first term, d is the common difference, and n is the number of terms. Now, what is this an? This is an explicit formula in the sense, imagine you want to find the 6th term of the sequence. All you need to have is a6. So you need to have first term, that is a1, and this will be 6 minus, it's plus 6 minus 1, and the common difference, and you directly will get any term you want. So you do not need to know the previous term or anything. You can jump to any term you want as long as you know certain data, that is the first and the difference. Now we will solve some problems. Here during their routine, a high school marching band marches in rows. There is one performer in the first row. They have told this is the first row A1. 3 performers. Now first row it's 1. A1 is 1. 3 performers in the second row, that will be A2 is equal to 3. And 5 in the third row, A3 is 5. This pattern continues for the rest of the rows. Determine how many performers will be there in the 14th row. So they have given a sequence 1, 3, 5. Now if you see the common difference over here is 2, so next will be 7, 9 and so on. So this is 2 over here. And then n, what do you have to find? At the 14th row, n is 14. So we have to find an equals a1 plus n minus 1d. This is the formula, right? Now a 14th will be the first term, that is 1 plus 14 minus 1 times what is the d? That's the difference. What is there? That is equal to d. This is it. You just put this in the formula, you can get the answer. It'll be 1 plus 13 times 2 is 26. The answer is 27. Use the calculator here. The final answer must be 27. So this is how you can solve it. Now here a different variation of the formula is used, but the final answer will be the same thing. You can see the answer is 27. So very simple. But now look over here. They have clearly mentioned the first row, that is A1. It is 1. A2 is 3. A3 is 5 and so on. What about this one? About money. Usama's employer offers him a pay rate of 33 dirhams per hour with a 0.5 raise every 3 months. How much will Usama earn after 3 years? Now here, what do you think is this term 1? They have told a lot of things. This is what it's increasing every 3 months. So D is 0.5. The after 3 years is what you need to solve. So you need to see how many 3 months are there in 3 years. In the sense, for each 3 months, there will be a jump. 3 months. Next will be after 6 months, 12 months. So how many will be there in 3 months? You can count it like this, or it's very simple. How many months are there in 3 years? 12 times 3. Divided by 3, you will get the answer. So cancel it off. So you will have 12 months. So every 12, n will be 12. Sorry. So if you count n of 12, you will have 12 3 months in 3 years. That's the thing. So there will be 12 times increase in the salary for Usama. Now what is the term 1? Now A1 is not 33. Here you need to realize that A1 is the first term. Now what is first term? When there is an increase of 0.5 salary, right? So after the first 3 months, it becomes the first term. So this is just given. It's not A1. A1 is the first time something happens, or in the first row, or after 1 month what happens, right? But here it's after 3 months. So A1 will be 33.5. You can even try counting it. Now this will be A1. After A12 will be 3 years, at the end of 3 years, So this is it. These are the given. So an is equal to a1 plus n minus 1 times d, right? Now substitute a12. That means after 3 years, it will be 33.5 into n is again 12. Over here, n, this is what we are solving for. Minus 1 times d is over here 0.5. Now this is plus, okay, the formula. Please memorize the formula properly. It'll be 33.5, and over here we have 11. 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 times 0.5 will be 5.5, and the answer will be 38 plus 1, 39 over here. So after 3 years, the salary per hour will be 39 dirhams. So this is how we solve it. You can see here, that's the answer. And that is the end of this question. A simple one. Just remember the formula. An is equal to a1 plus n minus 1d, and then it will be very easy to solve these problems. Question 8 to investigate several different type of sequences. You might recall we have done similar problem in the part 2. Here we need to find which is convergent and which is divergent. Now how would we do it is, you'll be given some values like given and a formula. Now looking at this formula, you can say this is an implicit formula, in the sense you cannot find the value of say a5 without knowing a4. The formula specifies 1.5 an minus 1. So this is n minus 1. What this means is you need to know the previous term to find the next term, and a1 will always be given in such cases. You can't find for a1, you can only find a2 or more. Now what is a2? It will be a2 is equal to 1.5 A2 minus 1 is A1, right? So A1 is 4. So 4 into 1.5 will be basically 6. And same way we can do A3, where we need to do 1.5 times 6 here, because that's the previous term. It will be 9. A4 is equal to, again, 9 times 1.5. 9 plus 4.5 will be 13.5. It's 1.5 multiplied by 9 and so on. You keep on getting the values. Now you need to find about 4 to 5 terms. So you can see the first term, second term, third term, your 5 terms are found out. And see the values. What are the answers? It's 6, 9, 13, 20.5. What is the pattern? It's keep on increasing, right? And if you go further, it just keeps on increasing. I mean, with just 4 to 5 values, you understand the trend. Now here, if you graph this, see, this is MCQ, don't need to graph, but if you graph this up, the values are, at the first value, it's 4, it's something increasing like this. Okay, it's keep on increasing. So this is diverging. You will never come close to one value. See, the graphs are not like this. It will just come towards one value or something. No. If it comes towards one value, say it will come towards 0.005 and something like that, then you call it convergent. It's converging towards a single value, right? Convergent is coming together. Diverging means it just goes away. It just keeps on going away towards infinity, right? So that's why this is divergent. All you need to do is find few values and see what is the trend of the values. Now this is the answer, divergent. Let's look into another problem. Generally this one will be convergent. Why? Because it's divided by. So as you divide big and big number, what happens? It comes closer to a small number, that is 0 point something. So here what you do is, this is an explicit formula. You don't need to know the previous term. All you need to know is the current term. This is it. That is A1. A2 will be 5 by 10 squared. A3 will be 5 by 10 cubed, 5 by 10,000. A3 will be 5 by 10 to the power 4 and so on. Just put them in the calculator, you can get the answers. So over here, you can see it's 5 by 10, 0.5, now 0.05, 005, it keeps on going. This is by 10,000, so you'll have 3 zeros and then 5. So what is happening here? If you keep on increasing the values, you can see it's going towards extremely close to 0. So they are all converging. See, the values over here are converging. See, it might be like this and towards 0. So no matter what, all the values are going towards 0. Therefore, this is a convergent series or sequence. So this is it. Now, what about this same concept over here again? Just substitute the n values 1, 2, 3. You get the values, answers, and then you can see what is happening here. Now here you have 97, 73, 86, 58. Now you might think it's jumping up and down. See, it's coming closer. But is it coming closer to any value? Over here you got 22, then 1. The jumps are, not predictable. It's diverging. You can't tell it's converging or anything. It's again divergent. Convergent must be a single value. It must come close towards, say now if it was coming towards 1, it should be 0.99 or 1.01, something like that. Here the values are just jumping. You can't consider anything. These are just divergent series. Similarly over here you can see again divergent. Oh no, look over here, sorry. They're all coming towards one value itself, right? Now what happens is, if you keep on increasing, so I will tell you a test way to check this. Just take your calculators. Now even though if it is explicit or implicit formula, you can directly do it in the calculator. Now you might be thinking, oh, I have to keep on changing one value, right? No, you don't need to do that. As long as you follow this method, 3 by 4, sorry, into what is this previous term, right? What is the previous term? Minus 64. Okay, that's the first answer, negative 48. This much you ought to do. Now remove this minus 64 and put it as the answer. So what happens is, every time you press equal to, this answer is saved over here. So now it's minus 36. You can see these are the values we are getting. See over here. I just realized the answers over here are wrong. They all are minus. Okay, because there's minus sign multiplied, right? Minus sign will always remain. Over here they have clearly mentioned it's all minus. Now you can keep on going further. See what is happening. As I click the values, it's going towards 0. See, it's all reducing. So I can definitely tell it's going towards 0. So this is how, just check it in the calculator if it is implicit, if it's the previous values. Explicit, you can make in different ways as well. Now over here, it's just a, okay, over here again, you need the previous term. Same like what we did a while ago. 4 minus, first time you put 1 and then just put answer and keep on checking the values. You'll get this answer. Over here now, this is not convergent. Look over here, the answer is 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So this is divergent because it's not coming close to a single answer. There are two values which is jumping. So if you keep on doing the values, it'll be just 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So that doesn't help us. This is not convergent, it's divergent. Here again, find the values. As you can see, few values are enough. You can understand easily it's divergent again. Now here you solve some values, again it will be 1.6, but no, it's increasing. It is divergent again. You can see it's not coming towards 0 or a stable answer. It's diverging. And what about this one? Okay, this one is reducing. So if you check, let's check it in our calculators. So all you need to do is first time over here, you can put in the value 9. See, there is another way to start with the answer itself. You just have to press 9 equal to, okay? Now what happens is when you press 9 and equal to, the answer is saved as 9. So now when I use this, an minus 1 is the answer, that is 9, which I have to use, plus 3 divided by 2. So now what happens is when I press equal to 6, it's automatically stored over here in the answer. And it's 4.5 and it keeps on going. See, what are the answers? Over here, it is converging towards 3. It's not towards 0, but it's 3. But still, you can see it's going towards 3.00. As I increase, it will finally only be 3. So this is why I can say this is converging towards 3. So it doesn't matter, it converges towards any value, it's convergent. So it appears to be finite number towards 3. You can check it in your calculator. So that's how we solve that. Over here, again, please do solve the problems by yourselves. Over here, you can see it's converging again. It's converging towards 5. So how you can check this out? Take your calculator. Here, you do not need the previous term. All you need to do is type this as it is. See, there is no an minus 1. It's only n. So consider that as x variable. Now, you can calculate at any value. So you want to calculate at 7, press 7. And that's the answer. Yes, that's correct. Now, same way, calculate at 50. What is the value you're getting? You're getting 5.12. It's coming closer to 5. Calculate at 100. What is the answer? Again, if I calculated 1,000, a big value, you can see it is closing towards 5. This is how you can easily tell which is the answer. If it was an minus 1, you have to put answer as the given equation. I mean, wherever an minus 1 is there. But this is explicit formula. N is given directly. You can directly put this in the equation as a variable and calculate different n values. And this is convergent, converging towards 5. Please do solve the other problems by yourselves. Over here, all the worked out solutions are there. Here, it is converging towards 1. So you can see this. It's all coming close to 1. It's towards 1. And that's the end of the answer. Please remember, if it is coming close towards any particular value, it's convergent. Whereas if it randomly changes its values, then it's divergent. Question 9 is one of the easiest of all. All you need is a calculator. All you need to do is now press shift and this symbol over here, logarithmic symbol. You get this summation notation. Now here you don't have the option of n, it's in terms of x as the variable. So type it out, 6x minus 11. And where does it start? From 1 till 8 and press equal to, the answer is 128. So that will be the final answer. You can do it by finding 8 values and adding it up, or this is the easier method. Let's do it again. Shift this log symbol over here and 30. Type 30 minus 4. Instead of n, you put alpha and x. And then x starts from 4 and it ends at 11. And that's the answer. It's 0. So that's the answer. Similarly, let's try the 38th one. All you need to do is shift and this symbol to get the summation. Here you need to use the brackets properly. n squared bracket n minus 5, close the bracket, and now it's all closed, open two brackets, close two brackets. It starts at 1 and ends at 7. So the answer is 84, and here you go. All the problems are similar. This one is also straightforward. Just use the calculator, you'll get the answer. Even over here, just use proper brackets, square it up, and then multiply this. So that be the answer. Even over here, there is nothing much. This is just the power alpha x. Let me do this. Shift and log symbol. Now what you do is use the bracket minus 2, close the bracket, square it up, and use the variable x. Then subtract it from 9. Now it starts at 0, ends at 6, and the answer is negative 20. Similarly, you can try all the others. Let me just do, okay, this one. What if there's infinity? Type the question as it is. You can't type infinity in your calculator, right? But there is a way to get the answer. 1 divided by 10 to the power x, close the bracket, because there's one already open and now another one was opened by you, so you need to close it properly. And now where does it start? It starts at 1. But what is infinity exactly? It's a huge number, right? Let us start with 25, because you can't put huge numbers. Your answer is 5 by 9. Yes, that's it. Now don't go directly to put over here, say 100. Now up over here, because sometimes you'll get an error. So 100, but don't put 999 or something. It takes a long time. See, you're getting an error. So you just start with a small value, because it's summation. You have to sum a lot of values. Let's start with 10. You can see it's coming towards 0.55. That is 5 by 9 itself. Then you can just slowly change it, say, to 20. Whenever you get fraction, that's your answer. You can compare which is the correct option and easily choose the correct answer. Even over here, it's the same thing. Shift and the log symbol. Type the equation by fraction. 8 divided by 10 to the power x. And it starts at 1 over here. And it ends at infinity. So I will just start with 15. It's 8 by 9. So the final answer is 8 by 9. You can try even bigger numbers, but don't go huge numbers. So I'll try 25. You might get the answer. For 50, it may be a math error or something. So that's the end of this question. Easiest of all in this EoT. All you need is a calculator and type it out. You get the answer. The question 10 is to find arithmetic means and the nth term for arithmetic sequences. So the formula is very simple. We have done this before. An equals the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference, that is d. Let's look at a problem. I'll solve this. Over here, you need to understand what is the first term, what is the common difference from the given sequences. This is A1. The difference between this, you can just do 35 minus 24 or 46 minus 35. You'll get 11, that is the D. Substitute in the formula. An equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D. So An will be 24 plus n is just n only, minus 1 times d is 11. Now multiply this 11 inside, it will be 24 plus 11n minus 11. So the finally an will be, you can write this variable term first, 11n plus 24 minus 11 will be 13. So this is the nth term formula. Now once you have this formula, you can find any number of terms. Now this is how we do it, and the means are already given. You just found out the terms, so you can see that's the answer. Now if such options are given to you, you'll have 4 options, right? You can easily find the answer over here in such cases. Let me show you. You need to have a calculator. All you do is type this equation. 11 instead of n, put x plus 13, and now calculate it at 1. When you calculate it at 1, you must get the first term. Now then calculate it at 2, you must get the second term. Calculate it at 3. Yes, this checks all the 3 values obtained. This is the correct answer. But in this particular method, you need to do it for all the 4 options until you get these question as the correct answer. Whichever gives you the question, that is the correct option. Even over here, you can do the same. Substitute over here, negative 14n, then plus 45. Over here, just calculated at 1, the answer is 31. Calculated at 2, it should be 17. And calculated at 3, the answer is 3. Yes, that's correct. Now, what about such terms? You can try this only, that is by, typing this equation as it is. So it's negative 3x over here plus 72. Now, since there is no A1 term, you can directly jump to ninth term. What is it? 45. Yes, correct. And since D is minus 3, what I can do is, after 9, let me go to 10. It must be less than 3, right? 45 less minus 3. So calculate it at 10. Yes, it'll be 42. And then you can check for other values. It will obey these two. Same thing can be done, or you can use the formula over here. But when you're using the formula, say in this case, because you have given the fourth term, right? The formula is an is equal to a1 plus n minus 1d, right? You don't have a1. So first you need to solve for a1. But what do you have? You have a4 is equal to a1 is unknown plus what is n? N is 4, right? 4 minus 1 times d is 0.25. So here a4 is 12 into a1 plus 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 into 0.25 is 0.75. And take this to the other side, it becomes 12 minus 0.75, 11.25 is a1. So once you know what is a1, you can easily solve the other terms. Write the equation, right? an equals 11.25 plus n minus 1 times 0.25. Now you can multiply this inside, it will be 11.25 plus 0.25 minus 0.25. Over here it's n. So the final answer will be 0.25 n plus 11. But this is a lengthy procedure, right, to get this equation 0.25 n plus 11. So the easier one is just putting values in the calculator and checking the given values. So whichever method you do, you will get the correct answer. Since you will have 4 options, you can do whichever method you want. You don't need to stick to the formula method itself. Please try out all this problem. Very simple formula as well. Calculative method is also easy, and you can easily solve these problems. Question 11 is to find sums of arithmetic series. Here we must remember 2 formulas. Now, which formula to use when? Now you can see there are some common terms, n no matter what. The first term is a1 no matter what. But if at all you know the last term of the series, then you can use this easy formula, that is the first term plus the last term by 2 and multiply it with the number of terms, total number of terms, whose sum you need to find out. They'll ask you, say, sum of 10 or sum of 100. So n will be based on this number. It'll be 100 in this case. But the second formula, it depends. See, there is no n. You don't know the last term. You have a series that is like 1, 3. You need to sum the series 5, 7, dot, dot, dot. It goes on indefinitely. And you need to find the sum of 35. It's very hard to find the 35th term, right? In such cases, you can find the difference and directly use the d and solve it in this formula. So let's use both the formulas and solve. I will try to use the first formula wherever I can because that's the easiest of all. Now in such cases, find first 100 even natural numbers. Even numbers 2, 4, 6. You need to add them all up. 100 even numbers. So which will be the 100th number? 2 to 200, right? So this is the series. Let us write the other sequences as well and then we will find the sum. Over here, first 200 odd natural, not 100. So let's do the first 100 natural numbers, then we'll do this. So even numbers done. What about odd numbers? 1, 3, 5. And where does it go? Which is the 100th number? So 100, only 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2 will be there, right? So it will be 100 times 2, it will be 200. But 200 is an even number. So do we go to 201 or 199? If we count it will be 199. Okay. So including from 1 till 199 will be 200 numbers of odd. And what about over here? 200 natural numbers that are odd. Again, the same thing, 1, 3, 5. But where does it stop? 399 this time, because there are 200 odd numbers. Now 300 even natural numbers. Same thing over here. We had 100. Now it will be 2, 4, 6, dot, dot, dot. It goes on till 3 to 600. So this is the numbers. This is the series, sorry. Now then you can use the formula and solve it. You know A1 for all the cases. AN is known, that is the last term. And then what do you know? The total number also is known. N is also known. So all the information is there for the first formula. Now if you want, you can even do the second formula. I'll do both the formulas for one problem. The easier formula is Sn is equal to n times A1 plus An by 2. But even the other formula, Sn, now this one, right, always remember, it's n by 2, okay? And then it is 2 times A1, then it's similar to the series, the arithmetic sequence formula, n minus 1 times d. So please remember both of these. I'll directly substitute them in the calculator. Over here, the first one, n is 100 multiplied with first term, that is 2 plus the last term 200 by 2. The answer is 10,100. But now let me do the second formula as well, and I'll show it'll be the same. It'll be again 100 divided by 2. Now open the bracket. 2 times 2 is the first term, A1, plus what is n? It is again 100 minus 1. Close the bracket, multiplied with d. What is d here? Even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? And close the bracket. Sorry, I have done wrong with the brackets. Yeah, this is now correct. The answer is same. So this is how we can easily solve series problems. Now, depending on the given information, try to use the first formula if the last term is given. If not, only the sequence is there, then you have to use the second formula. Now let's do the others over here. I'll use the first formula because you can use that, right? And to find it, 200 multiplied by first term is 1 plus 399 divided by 2, and that's the answer, 40,000. You can see here 40,000, and the others as well. This is over here 100. Again, there are 100 numbers, and the last term is what? 199. So it is over here 10,000 only, 100 less than the even numbers. And lastly, what if it's 300? So you just change this and make it 600 is the last term. And now how many terms are there? That is very important. It's 300, not 100. And what is the first term? Everything needs to be changed, and that is the answer, 90,300. Similarly, you can solve these problems. See the first over here. Now, okay, there is a catch here. Do you know how many numbers are there? They have put dot, dot, dot. See over here, n is given. Without n, you cannot solve. So what will you do? Here, let's see what information is there. A1 is there, an is there. You know the d value is there, right? The common difference can be found out. Second term minus the first term. But see now, this is in brackets. Let me remove it. It will be minus 18, minus 15, minus 12, dot, 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 plus 66. Okay? You're adding them up, right? That's the thing. These are the terms. Okay. Why I wrote the terms? Because I need to find n, isn't it? So these are the terms. A1. How do I find d? Second term minus the first term. You can see 3 is being added, or you can just do minus 15 second term minus, see, A1, A2, right? The formula for D is A2 minus A1, minus 15 minus of minus 18. This becomes minus 15 plus 18, that is positive 3. So D is 3. An is known. Do you recall this formula? An is equal to A1 plus n minus 1 times D. Now, if I use n over here, all the known values over here, and find n, I can use the series formula. So what I do is I'll write 66 the last term. The first term is minus 18 plus n is unknown, minus 1, d is 3. Now, directly you can put this in the calculator and solve it as well. To save time, let me do it directly. So how we can do is 66 equals over here minus 18 plus n minus 1, n is the variable x, minus 1 times d multiplied with 3. Shift and solve, the answer is 29. So there are 29 terms over here, n is 29. Now then, can you use the sum formula? Yes, you can use the Sn is equal to n into a1 plus an by 2. Substitute over here. 29 times the first term is minus 18 plus last term is 66 divided by 2. You will get the answer. Now just press on, or you can press more than one. Now you need to, I have written the second part first, that's fine. Minus 18 plus 66 divided by 2 multiplied with n, that is 29. So the answer is 696, and that's how we solve it. I hope that's clear. Even over here, you have to do the same thing. First find the n, then you can substitute the formula and solve. But now look over here at these problems. They have given you specific terms, the first term d and n. There is no way you can use the first formula. You have to use Sn is equal to n by 2, 2 times a1 plus n minus 1 times d. This is the only formula that can be used to solve. Over here, it will be 24 by 2 and 2 times minus 16 plus, over here, n is again 24 minus 1 times 6. All you do is put this in the calculator and you get the answer. We'll quickly do this. 24 by 2 is 12 multiplied with 2 times minus 16. And then we have plus 24 minus 1 is 23 times 6. Close the bracket. Here the answer is 1272. And the other answers, please do find it by yourselves and then compare the answers. So this is how we can easily solve it up. And that's the end of question number 11. The question 12 is about geometric sequences. We have to find the nth term and geometric means. The geometric sequences formula is given like this. It's an equals the first term multiplied by rn minus 1. You might find this similar to the arithmetic sequence, but over there it was all about plus, right? Here you're multiply, because geometric means you're multiplying the number. This r is the common ratio, a1 is the first term, nth term, n is the number of terms. So here we have some terms, okay? The first and the last. We need to find the terms in between. Now what we can do, we know only one formula for the geometric sequence, that is an equals a1 rn minus 1. So what all can we find over here? Can we find r? Can we find what is being multiplied? No, because we don't have the second term. To find r, we need a1, a2, any two consecutive terms. R will be second term divided by the first term, because you multiply this by a number, you get the second term. So a1 multiplied by r, it will go to the other side. This is the formula. But now we can't do that. But we know how many terms are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can tell n is equal to 5. The first term is 810. This is the nth term, that is 5, right? An is a5 in this case. So can we substitute and try something? An, that is a5 over here, because there are 5 terms only, will be equal to a1 is 810, r is unknown. What is this n? N is 5 minus 1. Now what is a5 over here? It's 10 equals 810 r to the power 5 minus 1, that is 4. So you can directly put this in the calculator and solve, or you can simplify it, and you can take 81 to the other side and take the radical 4. But I'll show you how you can do it directly in calculator. Now you can write 10 equals, I've considered the original function, not remove the zeros. So 810 multiplied by r is the variable, so we'll consider it to be x to the power, let's take 5 minus 1. Now you have to press shift and solve and then equal to, now you get the answer. It might take a few seconds, but you'll definitely get it. And it's taken, now press equal to, and that's the answer. So the final answer is 0.33, that is 1/3. I remember doing this in the class and showing the students the calculator calculation. Some of them never got it. So you need to clear your calculator before this, before you start, clear your calculator. And it will take about 40 seconds or 30 seconds. I can't remember now. It took a long time for them. So now I'll show you the calculation without the calculator method, just the algebraic calculation. Take 81 to the other side, it will be 1 divided by 81 equals r to the power 4. take radical 4 on both the sides. It'll be, r will be this much you can put in the calculator directly. So we use shift and this symbol, use your radical, it's 4, and press next, it's 1 divided by 81. 3 to the power 4 is 81, so it should be 1 by 3 itself. So that's the answer. Oh, now that is just r. Wait a minute, we will do the answer now. We came to know r over here is 1 by thirds. So that means you have to multiply 810 by 1 thirds to get the next term. And that's not it. You need to keep on multiplying 1/3 3 times. So we can do that in the calculator. Now what you need to do is this 810 multiplied by 1/3. 1 divided by 3. What is the answer? It's 270. So since it's 3, you can just do 270 multiplied by 1/3 and so on. But if you want to save time, you can just save that as the answer. Now 270, what we got is saved as the answer. Now multiplied by that is 90. And then when you press again, now answer is 90 here. You're getting 30, then 10. And the next terms would be so on and so forth. So here it's 270, 90, 30. Now there is one important thing to remember. I forgot to tell you. We took r to the power 4, right? We got r to the power 4, 1 by 81, sorry. And then we took radical 4. Now, whenever there is even number, I forgot to write over here, it's plus or minus 1/3. It's not only plus, it can be plus or minus. Always for a square root, power 4, power 6, any even number, it can be two possibilities. So in such cases, what you need to remember is, this is yes, correct answer, but there might be also this possibility. It is easy to figure out because in your options, you will come to know there are two set of answers. So select them. Okay. So this is the possibility. It can, okay, now it can be minus 1/3. So 810 times minus 1/3 will be how much? It will be minus 270. Then multiply this again, minus 270 times minus 1/3. This is going to be positive number, and then just solve it. It will be 1 times 90. And then this is plus 90, and then 90 times again negative 1/3 will be negative 30, and so on. So this is how we solve it. We'll do one more problem here. Let's do a difficult one, last one over here. So first one, a1 an, and there are 5 terms. N is equal to 5. So we will substitute in the first formula. A5 is equal to a1, that is 729 divided by 64 multiplied by r to the power 5 minus 1. So it is 324 divided by 9 is equal to 729 divided by 64 r to the power 4. Now you can try putting this directly in the calculator. 324 divided by 9 will be equal to 729 divided by, okay, you should press this fraction symbol, 64 multiplied with the variable x to the power 4, 5 minus 1 is 4, shift and solve. It'll take time. Now it's 1.33, that means it's 4 by 3. So that's the answer. Now if you want to check what is the fraction symbol, fraction, you can just put 1.333, a lot of 3's, and it automatically gives you 4 by 3. So now r is not 4 by 3, it can be plus or minus 4 by 3. We will keep this plus or minus 4 divided by 3. Now you just have to multiply first multiply plus 4 by 3, then minus 4 by 3. So whatever answer you will have two different answers. Let's do that in the calculator. Here let's take the first term, 729 multiplied with 60 divided by 64 multiplied with, it is 4 by thirds, 4 divided by 3. Let me do the negative one now. Because if you do negative one, then only the values are the positive. See, only for the negative one, we have to add negative. The values over here will be same. One will be all set of positives, one negative, positive, negative, alternating positive and negative. So I will multiply this. What's the answer? It's 243 divided by 16. Now what I'll do is I'll just change this to the solution. I mean, as answer, it's saved, right? Next one will be 81 by 4. You can see the answer. Next one will be positive only, and the third one is negative 27. And here it is 36, but this 324 by 9 is also 36. You can see 324 divided by 9 is 36 itself, but they are written in fraction, that's it. So that's how we solve these problems. Over here they have given the same thing again, but in words. See, they have told to find two geometric means between 3 and 375. There are two terms. Same thing. First use an, but this time it's 4 because we have only 4 terms. A1 r n minus 1, right? That is 4 minus 1. So what is the fourth term? 375 equals, the first term is 3, r to the power 4 minus 1 is 3. It'll be 375 divided by 3 and the cube root, that is equal to r. Now here be careful. This is an odd power, right? You can try directly putting in the calculator as well. Now since I've done the simplification, I'll put the simplification over here, 3, and this will be 375 divided by 3. Now what about this? Is it plus or minus? No, it will be only plus. Only for even numbers, even powers, over here there'll be plus or minus. But this is only 5, so let's start doing it. 3 times 5 is how much? 15. So now 5 is the r value, so just change this and put the answer 15 and 75. So that's the answer. It's only positive, there's no negative values. Why? Because it's an odd power over here. Same thing, you need to do it over here and check the answers. And that's the end of question 12. It's again another simple one. Please remember the geometric sequence formula, substitute it, find the r value, and then you can easily find the terms. The question 13 is about geometric sums. So we have to add geometric sequences basically. The formulas are given over here. This is for geometric sequence formula. We just now saw it in the last problem. It is an equals the first term times the geometric ratio or the common ratio r power n minus 1. And the geometric series over here is given by these two formulas. So which formula do we use? We can use both the formulas, but in general we use the first formula. I'll tell you why. Generally we will have the first term, we will have nth term, then we use this. But if at all the last term is given, the sum, the series, the last term is given, then we can use this one where it is a1 minus anr. Now in these problems we can all use only the first formula and solve it up. So let's look into the problems. They're all real world problems. I'll solve them all. Science. 1 minute after it is released, a gas-filled balloon has risen 100 meters. In each succeeding minute, the balloon rises only 50% as far as it rose in the previous minute. So now in the first minute, 100, right? 100 meters up. Next is only 50. Then 50%, that means 50. Then half of it, that's 25, and so on. How far will it rise in 5 minutes? Now, since it's just 5 minutes, you can, use the, just common sequences and find it out. Geometric sequences and find it out. In the sense, 100 plus 50 plus 25 plus 12.5, then it'll be 6.25. Add them up, that will be answer. But what is the better way to do it? The formula is Sn equals A1. Now here, 1 minute, focus here. How far will it rise in 5 minutes? So they want to know, it's going up, right, the balloon. How far? The total distance, that's basically the total distance they want. So we are using Sn formula. A1 minus A1r to the power n by 1 minus r. This is the formula. Now here, what's the first term? 100. So 100 minus 100. What is r? 50%. What is 50%? That is 0.5, or you can write 50% itself. But you have to use brackets and all. It's better to write 0.5. What is n? The first minute it rose how much? 1. Now we need 5 minutes, so it is n is 5. And 1 minus r. What is r? 0.5. This is it. Put it in the calculator, you will get the answer. Now press this fraction symbol and type it out. 100 minus 100 times 0.5 to the power 5 divided by 1 minus 0.5, it's 0.5 itself. So the answer over here is 193.75, and that's the answer. Now, even if you add this up, 150, 75, 87.5, it's, yeah, exactly 193.75 itself. It has to be. So that's the answer. This real world problem is on chemistry. Radon has a half life of 4 days. This means that for about every 4 days, half of the mass of radon decays into another element. Now, see, half of the mass is decayed. That means what is the R value? It is 0.5. 50% is gone, right? Zero point 0.5 is equal to R from there. How many grams of radon remains from the initial grams or 60 grams after 4 weeks? So there is 4 weeks of time that decay will happen. So 4 weeks is how many days? It is 7 4 so 28. 28 days. But we know that half-life is 4 days. So what you can do is 7 times 4 divided by 4, or just divide this by 4. It is 7 times, n is 7 basically, that decay happens in within this 4 weeks. So now we need to know the first term. This is initially what happens after the first decay. N is equal to 1. What happens? It'll be 30 grams. Then next one will be 50 grams and goes on, right? So remember here, this is the initial gram, but once this is initially, but when the decay happens the first time, this is the value. So this will be basically A1 after first decay, A2 is after second decay, A3 is so on. We have to find till A7. Now we know the formula of AN, right? AN is equal to A1 times Rn minus 1. Just substitute over here. We know AN is 7, A1 is 30 over here, multiplied by R 0.5 to the power 7 minus 1, and you'll get the answer. All you do is substitute this in the calculator, and here you go. That is the answer. That's 0.46, 0.47 is the answer. Yeah, that's the answer, grams. It's in grams, okay? Now, reasoning. A virus goes through a computer infecting the files. If one file was infected initially and the total number of files infected doubles every minute, how many files will be infected in 20 minutes? So now this is another interesting problem. Here I had some issues with this problem because I was confused. We have to find Sn. That is my first go. But I checked online. We are supposed to find An only. See, though it feels that, okay, we have to find the total number of files that are infected in 20 minutes. Wrong. Look over here, what they have told. How many files will be infected in 20 minutes? It's not that they have not mentioned total number of files or to find the sum or how much total distance is passed, something like that. Total is not at all there. In the next problems, you can differentiate this with that. It's just like the last problem, but over here, the values are different. See, if one file was infected initially, so already initially the A1 is what? How much is infected already? 1. A2 is what? It will be 2. Why? Because every minute it's doubling. So n is how much? N is given as 20. A1 is 1. Let's put it in the formula. A20 will be A1 times Rn minus 1. This doubles means R is 2. So over here, all you need to do is 1 into 2 to the power n minus 1. That is 20 minus 1. Just substitute and solve. We can put this directly in the calculator and solve. Here, I've typed it out in the calculator. Just press equal to. The answer is 524,000, nearly half million, over half million. So this is the answer, 524,288. Now it's about geometry. In the figure, the sides of each equilateral triangle are twice the sides of the inscribed triangle. So now imagine this is the inscribed triangle, right, for the outer one. The sides of the outer is basically twice. If this is 10, this will be 20. That's what they have told. Inscribed is smaller, the outer is twice bigger. If the pattern continues, find the sum of perimeters of the first 8 triangles. So like this only, it keeps on going, 8 more. So what will be the sum? See, now they have clearly mentioned sum. This is total Sn formula. Okay, so you need to understand from the question whether they're asking An or Sn. Now here, don't just take 20. They have clearly mentioned it's the perimeter, right? Find the sum of perimeters. So if one side is 20, this is also 20, 20. So what is the perimeter of the first triangle? It will be 60. So we have to find it for n, right? This is the A1. N is how much? 8. R is what? Half of it. Because see, this is double. That means the inner one will be half, 0.5. Now let's substitute. Sn is A1 minus A1R to the power N 1 minus R. So what you do is substitute the values 60 minus 60 times 0.5 to the power 8 divided by 1 minus 0.5. Now put it in the calculator and solve it. Yeah, I've typed the entire thing just as it is, and the answer is 119.53. So the sum of all the perimeters would be, it's rounded off to 119.5 centimeters. Before continuing this problem, I would highly suggest you all to try this by yourselves because we are doing this similar problems now, and then continue watching the video. Here it's about pendulums. The first swing of a pendulum travels 30 centimeters. If each subsequent swing travels 95% as far as the previous swing. So now if 30, next one, see when a pendulum swings, right, it will just go like this. The first one is done, but next one will be 95% less. Then it will be 95, 95. It will just stop, right? Something like that. So 95% as far as the previous swing. Find the total distance traveled by the pendulum after the 30th swing. So now here they have told total distance sum. So let's write the formula. Sn is equal to A1 minus A1 R to the power N by 1 minus R. And over here we have got A1. First swing, they have told this is the A1, right? Is this much. The R value is 0.95 or 95%. We have to find N is equal to 30. So let's substitute everything what we know. It is 30 minus 30 times 0.95 to the power 30 divided by 1 minus R is 0.95. Just put it in the calculator, you'll get the answer. I've just typed everything over here in the calculator as it is, and the answer is 471.22. So you can see they have rounded off to 471. It's in centimeters, so it's centimeter. The next one is about phone chains. A school established a phone chain in which every staff member calls 2 other staff members to notify them when the school closes due to weather. The first round of calls begins with the superintendent calling both principals. If there are 94 total staff members and employees at the school, how many rounds of calls are there? This is a very nice idea where if there is bad weather or adverse weather and if the school is being closed, the employees will call each other. So one person has to call at least 2 people and then they will call other 2 and other 2, and this is how it goes. So the first one to call is who? The superintendent. So 1, that is A1. Next will be 2, then 4, 2, 2, 2. So R is over here 2. And over here they have not told N value. We have to find N. But they have told 94 are the total staff, total SN. Now here this is an inequality problem. It will be a very lengthy one, but I'll tell you a shortcut. Just remember this formula. Sn is equal to A1 minus A1 R to the power N divided by 1 minus R. See, R is found out, A is found, A1 is known. So we will substitute 1 minus 1 into R is how much? 2 divided by 1 minus 2. What about this N? See, there are 94 students. If you just 94 staff, so you can just do the math. Next one will be, so 1 is done, 2 is done, so 3 over here 7 are done. Next one will be 8. So 8 plus 7 would be 15. Then again multiply, keep on adding. So it'll be about, maximum 10 rounds, not even 10, less than 10. So what we'll do is we'll try it in the calculator now. Now we have typed everything, but the power is unknown. So I will just start with 5. So you can see after 5 rounds, there will be 31 total staff informed. So let's change this to say 6 or 7. Let me go to 6. 63 staff. Still it's not enough. In the 7th round, I'm sure it's going to go more. Yes. 7th round, if the N is equal to 7, there will be more than 94 staff. So we can't tell N is 6 because 6 is less than 94. So N must be 7 at least. So in the 7th round, N is 7, all the staff in the school will be known about the weather condition. And the last problem in this topic, Again, a real world problem. You can try this by yourselves and then continue watching the video. High-tech electronic advertises a weekly installment plan for the purchase of a popular brand of high-definition television. The buyer pays 15 dirhams at the end of the first week, 16.5 dirhams at the end of the second week, 18.15 at the end of the third week, and it goes on until for 1 year. Okay, 1 year is basically 52 weeks. What will be the payments be at the end of the 10th, 20th, and 40th week? So how much payments must be done? So you can see, first we need to see there's an increase, right? What is the R value? How do we find R if we know the terms A1, A2, A3? It is second term divided by the first term. So I'll just do that. It'll be 16.5 divided by 15. You need to put in the calculator. You'll get the value. A1 is known, 15. What is N? N varies over here. This is all N values. So the first problem, the A part, we will now do it. Here we have 16.5 divided by 15. The answer is 1.1. So that is the R value. So 1.1 is done. How do we find the first 10th week? So AN is equal to A1 times Rn minus 1, isn't it? So for the 10th week, A1 is 15, R is 1.1 to the power 10 minus 1. Same thing for which is the next one, 20th week, it will be 15 into 1.1. 20 minus 1 is 19. I'll write it directly. And lastly, for the 40th week, it will be 15 times 1.1 to the power 39. So we have to just do this. So over here, all you need to do is 15 times 1.1 to the power 9. 10 minus 1 is 9. So this will be the answer. Then 35.36. And then over here, 19, it is 91. And lastly, at 39, it will be 617. We can just check the answers. So those are the answers. Now it's rounded off over here to 0.1, like 1 decimal. Now let's go to the next part. Find the total cost of the TV. What is the total cost? How much money will be paid after 1 year? So the first term, again, we know A1 is 15. R we just now found out to be 1.5. What is N to find out the total? N is 1 year, right? 52 weeks. It's in terms of weeks. So summation formula Sn is equal to A1 minus A1R to the power N minus 1 by 1 minus R. So the first term here is 15 minus 15 into 1.1 to the power 52 minus 1 divided by 1 minus 1.1. You just have to put this in the calculator and you'll get the answer. So all you need to do is substitute everything as it is in the calculator. And the answer is 19,217. Now I just realized that this is not n minus 1. My bad. I just realized now it should be only 52. Okay, the answer is 21,156. Yes, that's the correct answer. Here I was carried away by the formula of an that has n minus 1. This is just power n and n. Please be careful with the formulas. Understand them well. An is A1, Rn minus 1, but the summation doesn't have n minus 1 over here. And the last problem, why is the cost found in part B not entirely accurate? See, now when we are paying, we don't exactly pay the exact amount. Every week, if there's installments, you pay a rounded off figure. Instead of 91.7, you pay 92 dirhams. So what happens is when you actually come over here after 52 weeks, you're paying a bit more by few fills. Not even, it might amount to just few dirhams. So that is the thing. Round it out to the nearest dirham, really. And therefore it'll be more than whatever the sum. Actual sum is so much, but it'll be more, the payment will be more. That's basically it. And that's the end of question 13. They're all real world problems, so please read the problem correctly, analyze it, understand what needs to be asked, then use the proper formula and solve it up. Question 14 is to find the sums of infinite geometric series. This is very interesting. The formula is given over here, the sum of infinite geometric series. What does this mean? Imagine you have half, 1/4, and 1 by 8, 1 by 16, and keeps on going. It keeps on going forever, right? But still you can find its sum using this formula. But technically it goes until infinity, right? How can you add till infinity? So imagine you have a piece of cake, like say maybe 1 kg cake, you cut into half, it's half kg now. You cut again half, it'll be quarter. How many times you can keep on dividing into half? It'll be 125 grams, less. You can cut into infinite pieces, isn't it? So infinitely you can cut this. But you know the total sum will always be equal to 1 because that was a 1 kg cake. So that's the thing. Now, all you need to do is use this formula. The first term, whatever is the first term, you just put it up, 1 minus r. Simple formula. But very important that r must be less than 1. If r is more than 1, that means it's increasing. So now imagine you have 2, 4, 6, 8. It keeps on increasing till, sorry, 2, 4, 8, 16. You're multiplying. R is something more, it becomes multiplication and keeps on going till infinity. You can't track it down, you can't find its sum. Whereas if it goes less, say 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, and then you can add all the sums. So we will look into the problems here. First step, you need to find r for all the terms like this. Just find r. Second term, 21 divided by 20 divided by 7 divided by 5. Or it's easier to write like this, 5 divided by 2, the whole fraction symbol, divided by 15 divided by 4. You can solve it, try solving it over here, but it's better to use calculator, saves a lot of time. Now when you're typing in the calculator, it's up to you. You can use the fraction again up over here, like 21. So it's 21 divided by 20. And then over here, again use the fraction and it will be 7 divided by 5. And the answer is 3/4. Or what I would generally suggest is, because this is less confusing, 21 divided by 20. And over here you have 7 divided by 5, because the fraction means divided by. The answer will be the same. Now the answer over here is 3/4. So what do you do now? Write the sum formula. A1 by 1 minus r. A1 is 7 divided by 5. 1 minus 3/4, that is 1/4. You can put that entirely in the calculator. It is 7 divided by 5. Over here it's 1 minus 3/4, or 0.75, or you can write 3/4. So the answer is 28 by 5. You can see that's the answer. Same thing over here, you can do it by yourselves now. Let's quickly do this. 5 divided by 2, that's 2.5 divided by 15 divided by 4. It's 2/3. Now all you need to do is 15 divided by 4, 1 minus 2/3, 2 fraction. When you're writing 1 minus, write it like this itself. It's much better. So answer is 45 by 4. Similarly, please do try these. Now here, remember it's negative, but doesn't matter. When you're finding the r, 4 divided by 3, and over here it is 16 divided by 9. But don't forget the sign, minus. It's negative 3/4. But is r value less than magnitude of it? Is it less than 1? Yes, 3/4 is less than 1. So you can find the sum. That is over here, minus 16 divided by 9, and over here 1 minus, I can use the answer because the r value is saved over there. The answer is negative 64 by 63. Similarly, you can do this over here. It's 2.5. I think so. Yeah, there is no sum. Why? Because this is a very small number, I mean, not very small. It's less than 2.5. This is 2.5. Just do it over here. See, 5 divided by 2, 15 divided by 8. So this value is more than 1. If it's more than 1, there is no way you can find the sum. Even because the formula exists only for r values less than 1, right? So if you try even over here, 15 divided by 8, 1 minus the answer. Now don't think this is the correct answer. No, this is wrong. Here you're getting some answer because you put the r value, yes, but this is not the accurate answer, okay? You should ignore this. This will go till infinity, no sum exists. So first you need to find r. Let's find r over here as well. It is 7 divided by 4, and over here it's 21 divided by 6. Here the r value is 21 divided by 16. If it was 0.5, yes, there was some, but here it's 1.33. Whereas over here, if you try 12 divided by 7, and over here it's 18 divided by 7, and I forgot the negative sign. The answer is 0.666. That's fine. You can use it. So that's the end of the question 14. It's a simple and easy question. Just remember, find the R value and then proceed with the sum formula. And here we are in the last question of part 1. It is to write the repeating decimals as fractions. And there couldn't be any other easier topic for this to finally end the part 1. It's the MCQ part. You will have 4 options, so all you need to do is use your calculator here. There is such an easy trick to solve all these problems, that is 0.321. Write it as it is. Now, wherever you can see the line, that is the repeating part. That means this number is going to be 21, 21, 21, and so on. It keeps on repeating. So if you write some considerable amount of digits, you will directly get the answer as a fraction. You can see that's the answer. Same thing here, 0.1454545. Write about few pairs of it, and it's still not there, but just a few more, and here you go, that's the answer. Another way to solve it is you will have all the answers, right? 4 options. Just solve them up. 24 divided by 11, that will give you this one, 2.181818. Ignore the last digit just until last by 1. Now here, this is the way to check, but you need to do for all the 4 options and check with the question. Only one matches, and that's your final answer. So now let's do the others. It's 4.96. The easier way would be just writing it, few pairs, and then, okay, if it's not showing up, write a few more, and it'll show up once. So that is the answer here. Now, another important thing to remember is to repeat only the ones which have line. So if you repeat all these digits, then that's the wrong answer. So please make sure about that. And now press equal to, that is the answer. And lastly over here, 0.4336. So it's 336, and only 3 6 being repeated. And that would be the answer of 477 divided by 1100. So that's how easily you can solve all these problems. And that is the end of part 1. Finally, we have finished all the questions. I wish you all the very best for your exams. Please do study well. Don't keep it at the last minute. Try to revise as early as possible. If you have any doubts, please do post them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you very soon. You can find all the explanation videos of part 1 questions and part 2 questions in my channel. I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting my channel, for subscribing to my channel, for sharing my videos with your friends. I really appreciate it so much. I'm so grateful to all of you guys for all the support, for all the love. I just want to wish you all the very best. I hope everyone gets great marks in their exams. I wish you good luck and take care.